Hey there, I'm Rita Bearcat, and welcome to day 12 of 30 Days of Art Challenges. Today we are working, of course, in my art journal. This is day 12, and today I will say that there were a lot of challenges going on in this particular page. Today we're working on some collaging and doing some transparent layers with color. And there were a lot of problems. I'm just not gonna lie. There was one issue after another on this page. I don't know if I just felt off this day, and it just seemed like there were a lot of problems happening. Now, the first thing that happened, this particular paper that I love looking at lined paper. It soaked up a lot of the paint. So right away when I started painting, the paper was just soaking up the paint. So a good way to resolve this would be to use a clear gesso, and I could have done that, and I should have done that, but I didn't. And once you start painting, you kind of just have to roll with it. So I started painting and things were working, and I was just rolling with it. And I used gel medium to put that down, and I knew I wanted to use a lot of gel medium mixed with paint to get a transparent layer, and a lot of transparent layers on this particular page. And that's what I'm doing here. So I'm mixing a little bit of paint with the gel medium. Now the gel medium makes it clear. And so that was the whole point, that I wanted to paint this girl and have the journaling that I have there written on the page be like her thoughts in her head. And so I wanted to make sure that you guys would be able to still, see it, that you would be able to still see the writing and read the writing through the transparent layer. In order for me to do that, I have to make sure that it's a thin enough coat and that it is transparent by using the gel medium mixed with paint. And so you can see I had to do a lot of scraping to make sure. Now, because of that particular paper and because I didn't coat it, there were a couple times that I was like, oh, darn it, it's a little bit smeared, and I was kind of bummed about that. So again, clear gesso would have solved my problem if I would have done that right away the first time. So note to self, if I use paper that I'm not familiar with, which I should know better because I've done this 100 times. If I'm not familiar with the paper, I should coat it with gesso. So now I'm using a different color, and that was the whole point of this. I wanted to use different colors, different layers of this transparent kind of gel-like look on the page, having this girl with her hair just kind of blown in the wind, and she's having these deep thoughts, and the thoughts are like you could see them, like you could physically see them just above her head, like floating above her head. So I liked the gel. I liked the way that it was looking. I didn't mind that the white was showing. That was good. Everything was working so far. I wasn't really thrilled about how the paint took to that lined paper, but I was okay with it at this point. So I'm adding lots of color, and I'm like, okay, this is okay. But once, it's one of those things where once one thing goes wrong, then other things start to go wrong, and you're like, I don't know what's wrong with this page, but there's something really wrong here. And the whole time I was doing this, I knew there was something not quite right with the page, but I couldn't figure it out. And one of the things that I do recommend, if you've seen any of my other videos, is to stand up that page and look at it. You can stand it up, put it on a ledge, just stand back from it, or take a picture of it and take a look at it. And had I done that, I would have noticed right away exactly what the problem was. And the problem was that in her face, I just didn't like the way her face was. I didn't like where her chin was. There wasn't enough space on the other side of her eye giving me enough detail. So I do end up fixing that afterwards, because once the video is over, I was able to stand it up and take a picture of it and look at it Whereas when I'm doing the videos, I am laying them flat so that we can get a good video and you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. So in here, I'm doing a lot of fixing, and I'm looking at it, and I know there's something wrong, but I just couldn't get my finger on it. And so you just have to keep going, and I'm looking at it, and I just kept fixing and trying to figure out, what is wrong with this picture. But, that's kind of how we roll. We just have to go with it. And so I'm using, some white for her eyes, filling in her lips, making her a little coat. She's holding a book, and, she's just deep in thought. And I'm adding some details for her hair to make it look really windblown. And when I'm using the pen, I'm making sure that I'm using a pigment pen so that it's waterproof, and giving all those details. I'm writing in little words that are also thoughts that she's having in her head. She's thinking about, what's going on. And to me, that was the whole point of the background too, that it was just kind of like this colorful but very thoughtful, like she's just very deep in thought. And so now I'm going in and just adding a lot of details and cleaning things up. And some things I softened, and some things I make more prominent with the black. It's all a give and take. And so in here I kept, highlighting and changing and fixing, because I knew there was something off. I just couldn't figure it out because it was flat. So once the video was over and I fixed it, I kind of made her more character-like, which was kind of fun. And I think that that's the whole point of the creative process. You just have to keep working at it, but there is a point where you have to stop and take a look at it, stand back, and take a look and see what you've got going on, and process what's happening so that you can see, oh, okay, this is what I need to fix, and this is how I do it. And so when there is something that you need to fix, gesso is your friend, because gesso can cover, those lines that you've already made. Gesso can, add to color that's already there and cover it up a little bit so that you can add more or take away some. And then you can go and fix those issues, any issues that you see. And so that's what I went and did. I went and had to fix some of those issues. And when you see the end result, then you'll see how I ended up. I had to add to her nose. I made her nose actually quite a bit bigger, just to make her feel more balanced, and I liked it a lot better. And so if you haven't seen the other videos, there are lots of other videos, and there will be lots more. And if you're interested in the art journal challenges, I would be happy to send them to your inbox. I will put a link below. And you don't have to put them on YouTube. I just decided to do that for myself so that I would be accountable and that I would put them out there. But this was a big one. This was a big one for me for like issues. But the gel came out pretty good. And it looks really pretty. And it stays pretty matte. So if you like this video, and I would appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up. Oh, of course I have to add a little heart. There it is. You can see the nose looks much better now. So I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested in those challenges, I would be happy to send them to your inbox. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.